You woke up this morning, stretched your arms, and felt your joints pop a little as you swung your legs off the bed. You walked to the kitchen, poured yourself a bowl of cereal or toast, maybe added a splash of juice, and sat down thinking you had made a healthy choice. But what if I told you that the first meal of your day, the one you have trusted for 60 or 70 years, is sending your blood sugar on a wild ride that quietly damages your pipes, your eyes, your nerves, and your memory, and most people never feel it happening? You are not alone in this. Millions of seniors across the country eat a breakfast every morning that lights a slow fire in their walls, and they have no idea it is burning. Let me walk you through what I have seen in my clinic, what the research from the past 5 years now clearly shows, and the simple morning swap that, in clinical trials, has lowered that spike by up to 40%. I want you to imagine your body as the plumbing system of an old house. Your heart is the central boiler that keeps the heat flowing. Your blood vessels are copper pipes that carry warm fluid to every room. Your blood is that fluid, and the sugar inside it is like soot carried through the system. When a little soot floats through, the heat still works, and you never notice. When a thick cloud of soot blasts through the pipes every morning, it scours the walls, leaves sticky residue behind, and slowly narrows the passage. That is exactly what happens inside you after a high-sugar breakfast, and most people never feel a thing until a pipe clogs. Here is what changed my mind as a doctor. For decades, we told our patients that a carb-heavy breakfast was fine, that oatmeal and toast were the cornerstone of heart health. Then groundbreaking studies began to show something very different. Researchers at the University of British Columbia followed adults with type 2 diabetes who ate a low-carbohydrate breakfast for 3 months. Their blood sugar after meals dropped by an astonishing 74% compared to those eating a standard high-carb breakfast. Other trials in older adults consistently showed reductions between 20 and 40% when the morning meal was rebuilt around protein, healthy fats, and fiber. The number 40 is not a marketing claim. It sits at the top of a real range published in peer-reviewed journals and replicated across multiple research sites. You are not alone in wondering why no one told you sooner. Thousands of us are learning this together, and the reason is simple. Our training focused on what patients ate over the whole day, not on the order and the type of food at the very first meal. You can stop worrying about the total number of carbs and start focusing on the quality and timing of your morning plate. Think again about that old house. Morning is when the boiler has been off all night and the pipes are cool. Suddenly you pour a bucket of hot, sugary fluid through them. The thermal shock is real. If you instead warm the system with a slow, steady fuel like protein and fat, the pipes stay calm, the pressure stays even, and there is no scorch mark left behind on the walls. A 2-egg omelet with vegetables and a small piece of whole grain toast works like a gentle pilot light. A bowl of sugary cereal with skim milk works like a blowtorch. Both feed the system, but only one leaves the plumbing clean and quiet. I need to share something that might surprise you. Glucose is not the villain. Your body needs glucose for your brain to work and for your muscles to move. The villain is the speed at which glucose arrives and how high the spike climbs after a meal. When the spike is fast and tall, your pancreas has to flood the system with insulin to bring it down. That flood creates a crash, and the crash leaves you hungry, tired, and reaching for another snack by 10 in the morning. Over years, this crash and flood pattern wears out the insulin pumps in your pancreas, and that is how prediabetes becomes full diabetes. The breakfast swap we are discussing today quiets that cycle on the very first swing. I want to hear your story in the comments so I can address it in the next video. Have you noticed the mid-morning slump, the foggy head, the sudden craving for something sweet around 10:30? If so, your boiler is telling you it struggled with the morning meal, and we can fix that together. Let me give you the silent threat framework that woke me up. Silent glucose spikes are unlike chest pain. They do not announce themselves. You can be a perfectly healthy looking 73-year-old who walks 2 miles a day, eats vegetables at dinner, takes your vitamins, and still have post meal blood sugar readings of 180 or 200 every single morning after cereal. That level of soot in the pipes doubles your risk of memory decline within 5 years. It triples your risk of fatty buildup in your arteries. It quietly damages the small vessels in your eyes and kidneys. You feel fine because the damage is happening on the inside of the walls, not on the outside of the house. If you find this honesty refreshing in a world of medical secrets, let me know by liking this video. I promise you, every piece of information I share comes from real studies, real patients, and the kind of clear eyed thinking I wish my own doctors had given me 30 years ago. The science behind the swap is surprisingly simple. Protein at breakfast tells your gut to release hormones that slow the emptying of your stomach. Healthy fats do the same thing. Fiber from vegetables and whole grains adds bulk that bulks up the meal without adding quick sugar. When these three work together, the food sits in your stomach longer, glucose seeps into your blood in a slow, even stream, and your insulin has time to escort it gently into your cells. No flood, no crash, no spike. The exact mechanism we are looking for. A study published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition followed older adults who replaced their usual breakfast with a high-protein version containing around 30 grams of protein. Their average post-meal glucose dropped by 16% compared to the standard breakfast, and their insulin response became more efficient, meaning the pancreas did not have to work as hard. Another landmark piece of research in the British Journal of Nutrition compared a low glycemic breakfast versus a high glycemic breakfast in adults over 60 and found meaningfully better blood sugar control, better focus, and lower afternoon hunger in the low glycemic group. Meet Miguel, 71, a retired electrician from Phoenix. He came to my office last spring with a fasting blood sugar of 130 and an A1C of 6.8. He had been eating 2 slices of white toast with jam and orange juice every morning for 40 years. He was not overweight. He walked daily. He was doing everything we told him to do except the breakfast. We kept his lunch and dinner the same. We simply replaced that toast and juice with 2 scrambled eggs cooked in olive oil, half an avocado, and a small handful of spinach. Nothing extreme, nothing he could not afford. 6 months later, his A1C dropped to 6.1, his fasting sugar dropped to 98, and he told me he had not felt that clear in his head in a decade. His wife said he stopped falling asleep in his chair after lunch. That is the quiet miracle this swap can deliver. Who do you know that needs to hear this? Share it with them now, because so many seniors are sitting at the breakfast table right now, pouring a small bucket of soot into their own pipes without realizing it. It costs you nothing to send this to a friend or a brother-in-law. It may change their morning for the rest of their life. Now, let me walk you through the practical swap, because knowing the science is not the same as doing the science at your own kitchen table. Here is the formula I share with my senior patients every single week. Aim for 20 to 30 grams of protein at your first meal. Pair that with 1 to 2 tablespoons of healthy fat, which could be olive oil, avocado, or a small portion of cheese. Add 1 cup of low-carbohydrate vegetables, such as spinach, peppers, mushrooms, or tomatoes. If you want to starch, choose 1 small slice of true whole grain bread, not the soft white kind. Skip the fruit juice completely. Drink water, black coffee, or unsweetened tea instead. That is it. That single shift changes the entire morning chemistry of your blood. Stay with me, because the next secret is the most important one. The reason this swap works so well after 60 is that our insulin sensitivity naturally declines with age. The same toast that gave you a gentle rise at 40 gives you a sharp rise at 65 and a dangerous rise at 75. So the swap is not just helpful, it becomes essential to keep your boiler running smoothly through the decades you value most. The research on this is unambiguous. Older adults benefit twice as much from high-protein breakfasts as younger adults do. The ceiling effect is real, and it is on your side. I want to talk about a fear I hear often in my clinic. Some of you worry that protein at breakfast will harm your kidneys. For most seniors with normal kidney function, clinical trials have shown that protein in the range we are discussing, 20 to 30 grams, is completely safe. The fear came from earlier studies of very high protein diets in people who already had kidney disease. A reasonable breakfast omelet is not a bodybuilder's shake. You can relax about this concern and focus on the real danger, which is the sugar spike, not the protein swap. This changes everything we thought we knew about the most important meal of the day. The most important meal is not the heaviest one, it is the calmest one. The calmest breakfast is the one that keeps your blood sugar on a low, steady line from 7 in the morning until lunch. When that line stays low, every other meal becomes easier, every medication works better, and your brain stays sharper through the morning hours when most seniors need to drive, manage medications, and make important decisions. Let me share with you the 4-week plan I built for my own mother. Week 1, simply replace juice with water and add 1 boiled egg to whatever you are already eating. Week 2, replace your white toast with 1 slice of true whole grain bread and add an extra egg. Week 3, build a real 2-egg omelet with spinach and olive oil 3 mornings a week. Week 4, the swap becomes your habit and you no longer think about it because it feels normal. Each week, the sugar spike shrinks a little more. By week 4, most patients tell me their mid-morning hunger has vanished and their doctor is lowering their medication dose. That is the moment you realize the food was always the medicine. The best part, you can start protecting yourself today. You do not need a prescription. You do not need a new gym membership. You do not need to give up your favorite foods entirely. You just need to redesign the first hour of your day in the simplest way possible, and the pipes will thank you for decades. Now, I want to slow down for a moment and give you a simple metaphor to hold in your mind whenever you sit down to eat. Picture your morning meal sliding into a wide, calm river rather than crashing into a narrow waterfall. A river carries plenty of water, but the banks are safe. A waterfall is dramatic, but it chips away at the rocks below. Choose river meals. Choose slow release foods. Choose calm. Before we close, I want to be honest and careful with you. The research showing 40% or more reduction in blood sugar spikes comes from controlled clinical trials with carefully measured meals. In real life, with real kitchens, real schedules, and real preferences, the average improvement for most seniors is between 15 and 30%. That is still life-changing. If you are on diabetes medication, please do not change your breakfast without telling your doctor, because the same improvement that helps you may also lower your blood sugar too much and interact with your current dose. Schedule a 5-minute call with your physician this month, share what you just learned, and adjust your plan together. You have just taken the first step toward taking control of your health. You came to this video as someone who ate the same breakfast for years without questioning it. You are leaving as someone who understands the pipes, understands the soot, and understands that one quiet swap can protect your memory, your heart, your eyes, and your independence for the long, beautiful years ahead of you. I want you to share this knowledge with everyone you love, because the first meal of the day should be a beginning, not a slow fire. Stay curious, stay empowered, and remember, you are not alone in this journey.